All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. We got me. We got Luna. And Flower. For those of you that don't know, my cat Flower, which is a black cat named by Addie when she was little. Not really sure. I actually think she named her Flower because of the skunk on Bambi. Luna, sit. Lou. So, hey, dumbass, go. Okay, sorry, I had to let Luna off her leash so that she can go chase whatever she's chasing through the swamp. This is like every freaking day, the same thing when I take her out here. And I try to just keep up with her. We have our trails, but this is our well house. Hey, Luna, I'm not going that way, bonehead. This dog, I'll tell you, she's gonna have to go through the woods by herself. There's a path that I maintain, so I think I'm gonna go down the path. So anyways, really excited after this video I posted last night. The first video I uploaded to YouTube. I got some really good feedback from a lot of people. Some friends sent me private messages. Other friends, commented on the video on Facebook after I uploaded it there and gave me some good ideas, some things to talk about. So these guys. Who else has a cat that goes on walks with you? I mean, crazy. But yeah, I was it felt very good to get the response I got last night. So thank you to everybody that commented on my thoughts. And I'm gonna have to take a few people up on their offers, like Stu. Oh, look at this. Huh. I lost that pack of cigarettes last night on the walk. That's what I get for putting them in my back pocket. That's funny. Shows how many people actually come back through here. My buddy Stu. I got a feeling that's going to be who you're going to see first in this interview process. I'd really like to sit down with Joe Esser, Stu, Nick Mazur, Joe Earl, Matt Williams, Matt Wills, Joe Sontag. That tight group of guys that I used to run around with. Justin Staley. There's a whole bunch of us, and I'm not trying to leave anybody out. I just don't want to go off off the cuff. Those guys are very much so the ones I was with kind of on a daily basis. And man, some of the stories that we could tell, I know that some of them are illegal, so we wouldn't want to tell them. Memorial Day is coming up. Joe, you guys, pretty much everybody I just listed. If I'm correct, I think it was Memorial Day 2005. God, I was 24 and I'm 39, so it was 15 years. Yeah, so it would have been Memorial Day 2005. That was the first party I went to at Vankal when Joe Earl, Matt Williams, and Matt Wills lived there. Joe Esser and I were doing Intox at the time, and I lived out in Scotts. I had a house out in Scotts with my ex-fiance and Monica and DJ. When DJ was, I think he was 2, 1, something like that. But I think that was the first Vankal party. I don't know if that was actually the first of all of them, but it was the first one I was involved in. And then we did Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. We used to get, I would go to the store. My buddy Tim and I, an old friend of mine, would go to the store on a Sunday. We'd swing out to Vankal, hang out, play horseshoes. At any given time, if you were looking for something to do, you went to Vankal. I ended up living there for a brief time and absolutely loved it. But at any given time, if I wanted something to do, I'd go out there. Earl and I back then were always ready to have a beer, like always. So on a Sunday, we'd be throwing horseshoes, listening to music outside, just hanging out, doing our thing. And I'd take a collection to go grab a couple cases of beer, and I'd come back with a freaking half barrel instead. And that was just how we lived back then. You know, we partied. We weren't irresponsible for the most part. We all went to work and took care of what we needed to take care of. But I didn't take care of everything, kind of. That was when I was basically a piece of shit dad. All I did was party, and I was involved in music, and I took a sabbatical from basically caring about anything. I think I was just so selfish back then, it was unreal. But God, the times we had out there. And at the same time, you know, Joe Esser and I were connected at the hip back then. When he got back from Florida, we were doing Intox, and I mean, every single weekend we were doing something that had to do with Intox. We were making t-shirts, recording music, writing music, making flyers, passing out flyers, or we were going to Club Soda when other bands were playing and handing out flyers for our shows at Club Soda. That was what we did. Photo shoots. I mean, Joe and I made music videos. I'll tell you what, anything musical, Joe Esser has it locked down. The man can play anything you want him to play. Any instrument, I bet you hand him a dobro and he'll have it, playing you a tune in 20 minutes. I've been lucky enough that I've been surrounded by amazing musicians my whole life. My great-grandfather was a swing band guy. I remember being 9 years old and getting a reel-to-reel. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about. It's basically what they used to record on, but they recorded on, I think they were 8mm, really big reel. I had a smaller reel-to-reel and had a microphone on it, and I could record whatever I wanted to record. I had a keyboard that had a little drum pad. I think everybody had one of those back then. And I had my little music studio. I was about 9 years old. We lived on Eggleston in an upstairs apartment. The guy that lived below us was the drummer for a band, and he put together a small mismatched kit for me in the basement. Now, I am not a drummer. I could play along. Like, I played along with Nirvana, a little bit of Metallica, some Pearl Jam stuff, but I by no means am a drummer. I could play along with what I heard, and I'm sure it wasn't even exactly how it was supposed to be played then. So, but I was trying. But God, I miss that outlet. Intox was definitely not what anybody thought they would hear out of Joe and I when we got together for music. You know, rap was not what anybody thought we would have done. But I like to think that it wasn't really rap. We didn't have a band backing us, but we had guitar riffs, which Joe did. Joe did all of the music in there. And I mean, mind you, Joe went to Full Sail in Orlando. Him and Stu both did, actually. So Joe was very, very good with the recording art portion of it, and he's got an ear for everything musical. So actually, I haven't seen him in over a year. I'm really hoping that maybe we can get together and have a cup of coffee. I think that's the last thing we did. But I'd love to have Esser on and kind of reminisce and talk about what he's doing these days. I know he's in a band. I think him and Stu are. If I'm hearing right, Scotty from Rumble House is working with Joe Esser and Stu, and I'm not sure who else is involved in it, but I really want to get those guys on. But I'm hoping Stu and I are in discussion, or we'll be getting together really soon to talk about him and I doing some type of interview. I'm not really sure what's the best way going to be to do this. Whether it's going to be Zoom meeting and somehow recording that and then uploading it, or just going live on either YouTube or Facebook and creating a chat between Stu and I. I, of course, would much rather him and I just get together and sit down in my office. I got a nice size office in the pole barn. I would prefer we just sit down in there and just, do this podcast idea and go at it. But being as this is the second video I've done, this is going to be a major learning process, because I am, like Joe Earl posted in the comments, yes, I YouTubed how to YouTube, which was pretty funny. But I watched this video and it shows you how to upload, and I see that there's an editing tool, and I'm going to play with these things as time progresses. But I'd really like to talk to some people in town that are doing music. I've always been a singer and I can write songs. I've always had that, and music's just been my life. So, of course, I'm going to start out with the guys that I know. I'd love to sit down and talk to Joe Sontag. He is a badass vocalist, writer, and he's an artist, and not a lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people know, but he is an amazing artist. I mean, like comic book, just amazing. So maybe we could talk about that. He does commission stuff, so maybe him and I get together and talk about that, and that might bring about some commission. I got to tell you, I need to get some sponsors, because I need to make some money, and I'll tell you who needs to sponsor me. These guys, Branded Bills. I'll put a link as soon as I figure out how to do it into this section. If you like hats, this place is awesome. Like, I got this one's this is We the People. They're leather patches. This is the classic snapback. It's got a big bill, but they have different style hats. So I'm a member of a monthly club with them. It's $20 a month, and they send you one hat monthly, one that they don't normally sell, or it's an exclusive hat. I've gotten 5 of their hats in the last 6 weeks. I love their hats. They're badass. So Branded Bills, come on now, hook a brother up. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to go live tonight at around 8 o'clock, and maybe we can get into a live chat with some people and figure out how we can get all this done. I'd like to be able to help some of these bands in town promote what they're doing, or like Joe Sontag and his artistry. I'd like to be able to promote that for him. That's what these things are for. That's the whole point in having a platform like this. So, and I also think that with the life experiences that we all have, this group that I've been with my brothers for so long, there's not a lot of stuff that we haven't been through. So, I think it'll be interesting to do that. And I do want to talk about my sobriety and some of the things involved in that. I wasn't always 100% sober. There was one point in time where I wouldn't even take aspirin. I didn't take anything even prescribed to me. I wouldn't do it. I got off drug court. I went, I had to change the way things went, because I am on some medications, but I only take the stuff that's prescribed to me, and it's not, mind altering stuff. So, I'm open to talk about my sobriety and answer any questions for anybody that might have them about that, because that's a tough one, man. Sobriety is hard, and it hit me hard. I fell in love with chocolate ice cream. I put down the Bud Light and I picked up a spoon, and I don't mean for heroin. So yeah, it's kind of, today's just been a day. My intent was to go live at 8 o'clock. Like I said, I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight for sure. I'm still kind of working through this. I'd still like to hear your comments and thoughts on, if you think the music thing would be good to bring about, or if Stu and I sit down and talk about our life experience when he was playing in the Jones. We talked about starting a band at one point in time outside of the Jones. I actually jumped in. We didn't do anything but some practices, but Esther jumped back to the drums, and then I was doing vocals. And I think what ended up happening there was Joe ended up going to play guitar for Headcase. So the Jones project went away, unfortunately, because I was really digging that. I loved that. Esser's one of my favorite vocalists, and I was really proud that, you know, he was okay with me doing his vocals, you know, things that he wrote. So, yeah. Anyways, if anybody's got any thoughts or ideas, let me know. I'm gonna keep posting these videos like this, just chatting about stuff. More than likely, starting tomorrow, it'll be more current events and things that are happening, because there's a lot of stuff going on in everybody's life right now with this COVID. And, you know, I'm interested in knowing what everybody's doing about haircuts, because I started out with doing a mohawk. My Addie wanted me to do a mullet. She thinks that a mullet would be hilarious on me, and I wear a hat most of the time anyways, so I said, screw it, I'll do it. Shave this down, you know, leave the back to start growing that. Well, then the top of my hair was just like I looked like a mushroom. It was just fluffing everywhere. It was crazy. So I got online and I did some searching. Luna, come on. I did some looking to try to see what to do about that. Well, they make these things called thinning shears. One of the shears, or one of the pieces of metal is flat, you know, sharpened. The other piece of metal that's there, the other half of the shear is notched. So when you make a cut into the hair, it doesn't cut all the hair. It cuts chunks of hair, small sections of hair. What happens if you use that and you go really crazy is this. I look like I am losing my hair, and I'm really not. My hair is so thick, it's unreal. There again, I'm not the type of person that really cares too much about what other people think. I mean, I'm wearing cowboy boots, BK jeans, sleeveless shirt. Everybody knows me knows I barely ever wear a shirt that has sleeves, and a you know, baseball hat. So carrying a pretty pink leash for my Luna dog. So yeah, I'm curious. Anybody else out there go to town on their own hair? I want to know I wasn't the only one that screwed it up pretty badly, because I fucked my hair up bad. It'll grow back fast, but who else is thinking about a mullet? Because I got pictures of me and Joe Earl and Jim Pritchard. And I think it was 2005. We went nuts and we all had mohawks. I wanted to see if maybe Earl and Jim would do the mullet with me. Come on, guys, it'd be fun. Matter of fact, that should be the new challenge. I challenge all of my buddies to do it. I'll bet you Joe Esser will do it. I know Jut Staley would do it. Joe Earl, he's kind of pretty, so I don't know if he's gonna want to do it. But we'll see. Anyhow, I am out of the woods, and I am back in the trailer hood. This is our place. A lot of people talk down about trailer parks, but hey, we own our place. Because I work here, I don't pay lot rent, so I basically live for free. I don't make as much money as I was making when I was selling roofs, but I got a lot more time with my family, and I'm not gonna trade money for time with my family again. When I was at West Michigan, I was working 12, 14-hour days, sometimes 7 days a week. And now I put in my 40, sometimes a little more, but I'm working here, so I have no drive time, and it works out great. You know, I've got